Act I. The dinner that started it all. It's your house that you're at. And it's not like we want you here or anything. Quit being such a snowflake, my son Quincy, with a nice cutting edge to his voice so that his words dropped crisp and chilly across our family's dinner table. And then I froze, a fork hanging in the air as the familiar smell of lasagna turned acrid in my throat. My 23-year wife, Maureen, nodded ominously. Finally, there's somebody who put it break-your-neck honest in terms of how we're all feeling. My mother. My shadow self Bethany's voice was dry as a board. She was never good at choosing when to blend in. Quincy pressed on, emboldened. There are certain characters who are at home on their own, and others who overstay. They're welcome inside their own household. Maureen met my gaze. Some husbands don't know when to back off. 3 months ago, I had it all. Successful computer consulting business, the house in some leafy, shiny suburb of living, a family, Maureen, 22, and Quincy, 19, and their little sister, Bethany, 19, all bathing in my glory. The mirage shattered on Tuesday night. I was craving a little thawing, a smidge of spring break chatter at 6:30 p.m. No, it was silence, save for the stolen peeks over a shoulder. Hi, everyone, I chimed in, fake cheerful. Smells amazing, Maureen. She didn't need to say more. Just lasagna, Arthur. Nothing special. So I did, my fork clanking noisily across the table that once held laughter. How was everyone's day? Quincy's fork crashed against the plate, and there, bright where I had twinkled, the were now predatory. His question, do you ever feel like you're somewhere where you're not wanted? Landed like a fist. What do you mean? I spluttered. His response, and Maureen's nod, and Bethany's eyes, mute, was my world flipped, upside down. They're my family. I replied, and my heart hurt. My home, Quincy's cruel laugh echoed. Well, maybe you need to rethink that. I went upstairs sick at heart. I was not sick in reality. And down there they laughed and talked as a relief to their feelings now that I was out of the way. And I was sitting there at the very end, on the edge of our bed in our bedroom as the life was draining from her. And I felt an incredibly sad press of an ultimate sadness come out of the shadows that had gathered in my shoulders as I tried to rewind the months that we'd spent together and play back time. Scan the face of our facade for the cracks that we never saw. Editor's note. Now that's a grabber opening, and the quote works perfectly. Maybe there's a reflexive physical cue of some sort. A shake of the hands? Arthur to a table d'hôte. That will compound the emotional melodrama. The confessor and counterpuncher. Act 2, in the morning. With light leaking uselessly through the curtains, I called in sick. The office was beside the point. Quincy and Bethany were out somewhere hanging out with friends, and I called. Maureen with a cup of coffee in the sunlit living room before it became all about Christmas trees and birthday candles. Last night, I began, my voice eerily composed despite the turmoil churning in my gut. She toyed with her wedding ring and sighed. Arthur, we need to talk. No interruptions. For months, the children and I had been talking. You're choking us, poking at everything, staring at everything. We can't breathe. I betrayed my word. I'm your husband, their father. She snapped. You don't listen. You react. I clamped shut. We've seen a counselor. Healing needs big changes. Dread coiled. What changes? Deep breath. Legal options. Declaring you mentally incompetent. The floor dissolved beneath me. You're 52. You're doing this grind. You're so impulsive. The studies show it is a question of the therapist framing your case in a particular way, as insane when it comes to financial choices. The business, investments, it's at risk. You want me and all of me, I said, in a ring-pierced voice. Not stealing, she countered. Protecting our future. Quincy's graduating. Bethany needs college. We need security. I am the security. I roared, standing. 25 years of making it work for this family. Coldly. You're a workaholic, disconnected. The kids don't like you that much. We just assumed you weren't here. Each word a dagger. You can't put somebody who is incompetent because you don't like them. Safe sent me some file. Notes, photos of her after working late. Into the night, looking desperate for months. Non-consensual evaluations. Character assassination. The children developed it, she said. Quincy pushed for a liar. I cringed at the idea of Quincy wobbling on that first bike, the job interview death grin. The higher education paid for, on top of all my wreckage. How long have you hated me? The only small concession of good news that Lorenzo has. We don't instinctively hate you. We want to be free of your reign. This is the man I've had kids for, and is thinking of Judas as salvation. And steal what? I've built, reallocating for us. Quincy runs the business. I run the money. Quincy, age 22, not being employed while running my company. Absurdity burned. When? Silence. Next week. Hearing Tuesday. 5 days to my undoing. I just need time, I said, and then I bolted and got in the car to drive around. A plan coming into focus as the fog lifted. Dawn. Morn's doing yoga and the kids are asleep. They call back and forth. The lawyer David Kim came running over. Jennifer, my wife partner, was thrilled to be buying me out. Their financial advisor had stashed the assets in a trust that was out of reach of the creditors. Mother stories, no questions, no gauge, no more measurement than family stories, she'd sighed. The plan crumbled by 3P.M. The computer history problem that doesn't want to be solved. A cautionary tale about internet archives. The noise linking Stravinsky and Bruno Mars. Can I have your attention, please? Emails with lawyer Marcus Webb. Read more. Morn's lies. My erratic management style. Kids are afraid. I printed, forwarded them. There were 7 affirmations of my sturdiness. My right to take out disposals, repair equipment. On a canvas of my neighborhood. Mrs. Johnson's porch, a smell of cookies, Peterson's, Williams. A face because she didn't want to lie. And y'all are a default couple too, Quincy. I've had an inside wobble and said not. Jennifer shrugged off the unsubstantiated charges. Business up 40 on your walk. Your family's insane, she said. What can I do? It all clicked. I wasn't their caricature. I was their network. They were spoiled and angry with the provider, but hungry for his fruits. Perhaps it was my nights working all hours when they ate on their own. That made the difference. My flaw, their betrayal. Note, this discovery side of things all gets mushed together and boiled down, because the idea is you start stacking scenes on top of each other until you've blended it into a montage. Keep the smell of it, that's essential. And then get out before you get bored of it. And maybe have Arthur question his workaholic tendencies in the Draper household grind battleship, brooding about that guy, and not make his role in the family rift quite so black and white. Act 3. Confrontation and collapse dinner again. Tension thicker. How was everyone's day? I asked. Phone on table. Anxious looks. Morin had warned them. Fine, Quincy clipped. Good, I said. News. Shares sold to Jennifer. Assets trusted. Morrison talk done. Morin blanched. What? Your incompetence plot? Over. Bethany's fork clattered. Not stealing. Morrison's notes say otherwise. Quincy rose. Liar there? Smart fraud defense, not conspiracy. Morin trembled. Rationally, please. Litter laugh. Rationally? Divorce filed? Fraud charges. Eviction. House untouchable. Silence roared. Bethany whispered, You can't. I can. You've made me unwelcome. This isn't your thing. Quincy flushed. You're unstable. You're fraudsters. Morin wept. The kids were young. Quincy's 22. Adult for consequences. 48 hours out. Allow your contacts soon. Bethany's plea. We're family. Paused. Turned. Family doesn't destroy. Steal. Banish. Bag packed. Hotel booked. Their voices rebounded in my skull as I drove in the dark. Hotel solitude. Quincy's call, a throat catching in his words. Dad, what did you do? Mom's crying. Jail possible. Felony, yes. Sobs. We apologize. We didn't mean this much. Mean caught. Back to normal? City thrumming below, oblivious. It's like, how did you feel that it felt like to you? Mean Wednesday, and you invite me Tuesday. Powerful. Control illusion. I played a win. What? You wanted me gone? Granted. Not my wealth. After what you did to me, you're not family no more. Anything. Drop school, job, repay. For 22 years? Tuition? Love till inconvenient? Nothing left? Consequences. Bethany? 19. Ruined. Adult choice. Fallout.
Family betrayal exposed. A father's fight against lies, greed, and the shocking truth at home. Shia. Note. Limp dialogue is enlivened by zingier versions of phrases and a few italicized emotional peaks of emphasis. Quincy, who's on the phone, could offer some more of his regret. He has a specific memory to share, for one, and help set him up as a human, rather than just an agent in a war between sides. Act 4. Uncovering the depths. Fury drove deeper. Here is how Maria Liu, a forensic accountant, learned about 18 months of thievery. $50,000 taken, $15,000 on a card with my name. Sophisticated abuse, she said, did not in fact stop under Morrison. Counselor Gregory. Hayes thought about post-ruling asset grabs. P.I. Tony Rodriguez had evidence of Moren's 6-month affair with Webb, pictures of dates, dinners at a certain hotel. She wasn't in it for the money, or for fame either, he said in the statement. Quincy, Bethany hires. Erratic messages in email. Bethany's underground movies. Chilling. Moren was shopping assisted living cold, pushing me under a bus to warehouse me. They wanted you gone, Tony said. Nights at the hotel did it, made it real, not crime, identity death. I was the prey and they were the predators. David. Federal crimes, wire fraud, elder abuse, theft, prison possible. Kids implicated Quincy deeply. They weren't strangers. They were my people, the ones I gave, now become my enemies. Response right, believe revealed selves. And B. This part isn't wordy like a lot of the winded-up self-worth statements shotgunned down, still. Saying the same thing. Picture a teeny-weensy flashback real quick like, to another suite. More in moment to bring things to a close and for there to be maximum self-pity from the readers, right? Act 5. Resolution and rebirth. Legal gears churned. Evidence, misconduct, theft, emails, indefensible. Pleading of felonies, suspension. Of sentence, fine, servitude, record. And far fast divorce, get I kept some assets more in a bit honky-tonk. Quincy. He never finished high school and eventually received a community college degree. Bethany worked through state school, house sold, memories poisoned. New home, modest, mine. 6 months later, Bethany whispered down the phone. Coffee? Talk? In it buzzed the new Lisa, niceness, politeness, a friend, plans and hobbies and happiness. Not wise. We were wrong, miss you. Miss support. Not true. If you succeeded, miss me? Silence. No. Relieved. Money, house, sans me. 19. Stupid. Knew right wrong, chose wrong. Mistakes? You taught. And consequences. Tears. No forgiveness? Considered. Forgiveness possible, reunion not. You watched uninvited, a burden, not a loved one. Sorry, Dad. So sorry. Sorry, plan failed, not for taken down. Click. 8 months silent, PI tabs, Quincy retail, studying, Bethany teaching, Moran receptionist, small apartment. They were remade, freed from those shackle, the evil. Every day that I'm walking away I remember. Someday that I'm walking too. I ponder broken in love or not. Love how you're a fool to believe I was a distraction? Therapy with Dr. Gutierrez decoding. Dr. Gutierrez. My workaholic evenings, my coding while they ate alone downstairs, had left behind a growing resentment, and questions can't help but not get, smelling more and more like control. Families. Storm, she continued. Healthy families find a way to assault the problem together and not plotting against it. Not plotting how they're going to take the castle down. Right. Flaws real. Cruelty unearned. No, I owe it to myself to provide myself with a way out. Future-focused. Lisa, cohabitation plans, boutique consulting, fulfilling, volunteering, aiding divorce survivors. Regrets? Harsh? Unwelcome. In home, not in life. 2 years since dinner's shatter. Loved ones as destroyers. No regret. Believe revelations. Listen exclusions. Deny second strikes. 52. Overhauled. Upstanding. Unbeknownst. Prosperous with wanted presence. Respect. Value but not need. Worth worlds of dinners. Response? Simple. Note. Resolution spikes toward inspiration and lingering sorrow. Bolded sentences as one-line pinnacles of emotion. There's still time for a shot of Arthur also volunteering somewhere, or with Lisa, to finally disrupt his sob story Omega syndrome and be part of the hopeful story arc. The end.